Hi, welcome.
Hello, how are you today?
Well, thank you. Thank you so much for coming on my show, Stories Worth Telling. And I think you probably have some stories that you could tell.
We all have stories that we can tell, and I think it's really important to tell those stories.
Oh, I do too.
Especially for our children and how we progress in life after that.
Okay, so Eva Menon, and you are a Lyme Life distributor.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, but you have an interesting story of how you got to our country and who you are.
Yes.
You weren't born in the United States.
No, I was not born in the United States. I was born in Romania.
Romania.
Yes, and my husband and I met in college, but he was born in India.
India.
So we both came halfway across the world to meet each other.
Oh, wow. That was a big trip, huh? And
it was a big trip.
And how did you meet? Was it?
So
I have bicycles in my head for some reason. That you guys met at a bicycle shop or something.
No. We met at the university.
Okay.
And I was working in the chemistry library, and he was a grad student there.
Okay.
And a TA, and so that's how we.
A teacher's assistant. Mm-hmm. And did you work for him?
No. We just worked together, and we were really good friends for a while. He was a good enough friend that I used to tell him about my boyfriends, etc. And then it kind of progressed from there. And here we are, 43 years later, we're still together.
Lovely. But you're only 29 years old.
I know, 29 and a half. It's the half.
That half is, I don't know how.
It's the half. That's really important.
I don't know how we measure. The half might be years instead of days. Is that?
Yeah. Every day is a few hours. Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Every year is a few hours.
Okay. So it must have been a lot of chemistry, though. You said you worked in the chemistry library.
In the chemistry librry.
And that was in Pennsylvania.
Yes, Temple University.
Temple
is where we met. Yes, I went to Temple so I could meet a nice Jewish boy. And here I was with a nice Hindu boy.
So he's not Jewish, and he's not from Romania,
and
he wasn't exactly what your mother designed.
Not really, but it certainly has worked extremely well for us.
Oh, that's nice.
So we have 3 children.
You do? 3 children?
3 children, and our children have children now.
Oh, congratulations.
Thank you. So my youngest daughter has a 3-year-old and is currently expecting.
Oh,
and then
congratulations.
Yes, and my son has a beautiful young little girl.
Okay.
Who's a few months old. So, yeah, so it's exciting.
That's very exciting. And then you have another daughter, too.
Yes, and I have a daughter who does not have children at this point, but she works for RAIN, the Rape, Incest, and Abuse Network.
RAIN. RAIN is an acronym. Rape, Incest,
and Abuse National Network.
Wow.
And she does a lot of their programming for prevention.
Well, what an interesting job.
Sexual abuse prevention. For companies, etc. So it's very interesting and really exciting to have kids that are so exciting, and they're living their own lives, and they're making an impact in the world, which is really important.
Well, they're adults.
They're adults.
And they're making a difference, and they're following your model, I would think, because you've made a difference in the world.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, I think you have. And your older child is a son, and what does he do?
He works in a business aspect of Amgen. It's a drug company, so that's what he does. He works in the business side.
So he's into pharmaceuticals, and your daughter's into RAIN, Rape, Incest, Abuse National Network, and then your younger daughter
is a teacher.
Oh, teacher. Now that's not an easy job either.
No.
That's a calling. I think that's a calling.
Yes, she is the 3rd grade teacher, and her husband is a high school math teacher. And then Mr. Rogers.
Mr. and Mrs. Rogers. And if they have a baby girl, will they name the baby Amelia Bedelia? That'd be so perfect.
I know.
You'll have to suggest that to her. Now,
Absolutely.
You had a career. I think you're retired now.
Yes, I've retired from nursing, which is what I did for many, many years.
What kind of nursing did you do?
Well, I did critical care, cardiac care, emergency in Pennsylvania.
Okay.
And then when we moved to Connecticut, I went into home care, hospice, and teaching.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
You have a lot of experience.
And I loved every aspect of it. In all of my careers as a nurse, I would see, and just being a mom and kind of working in the schools and seeing how girls are, I've always noticed how girls, especially girls, boys as well, but especially girls' self-esteem and women's self-esteem is in the toilet.
Really? I'm sorry to hear that. Well, I wanted to say something before you move on, and we can come back to that, but I just wanted to say, I think it's so interesting and important that you were a nurse and how that probably impacted your ability to be a better mother and a better neighbor and citizen and everything else that you do, right?
Right.
Because I was a teacher by training, a speech pathologist. I call it a teacher because an educator. I felt like it made me a better mother, and then by the same token, I could be a better teacher because I understood what it was like for having a baby or kids at home that didn't always listen to you.
Right. And that certainly has made a gigantic difference. And it also has made a difference in all of the things that have interested me in my life. So in my career as a nurse,
you found that people didn't have good esteem, is what you were saying.
Right. But I was just going to mention that in my career as a nurse, I started teaching first aid and CPR and advanced life support.
Okay.
So that got me involved with the Red Cross.
Oh, nice.
And so I've been involved with the Red Cross since the early 80s.
And you do disaster relief, if I remember correctly.
Yes, I do disaster relief as a nurse, etc.
So if they call you at 2 a.m, like high winds and whatever.
We get up and set up.
Get up and set up and
That's
probably zip up, right?
That's
like,
it.
You don't complain. You're happy to be there to help and do whatever you need to do. Yes.
Yes. So we have, we're lucky in East Lyme because we have the school is our place that we set up.
The middle school.
That's correct.
Okay.
It's the East Lyme Middle School.
East Lyme Middle School.
We do that. And then I also work with Rotary.
Rotary.
It's a totally different thing, but very important. They have a lot of really important.
It's community above self. Is
correct.
that? Yes.
It's be a good friend. In order to be a good businessman, you have to be a good friend. You have to be a good person, etc. And then how can we make a difference in our local community and in the world?
And it's not political at all. It doesn't matter if
totally
you're...
non-political.
It doesn't matter what your religion is, what your...
No.
Okay.
No.
So...
Totally non-political, and we focus on education, children and women's health. So those are really important in how we work, etc.
So
health
you do
and wellness.
Fundraising, and then you then go out into the community. And I know like you did something in Niantic not too long ago where you had a rollout that was for people in wheelchairs.
Yes. So no, we had the wheelchairs. The wheelchairs actually that you can go into the water and into the sand, so that people in our community who cannot walk have the ability to go out there. And then the Lions bought the mats that go onto the sand that help you go out as well, even in a regular wheelchair. Our wheelchair will go onto the sand and into the water.
Nice.
But a regular wheelchair could use the ramp that we were given. So a lot of times we work with other not-for-profit organizations so we can make a bigger impact. We also gave quite a bit of money to the Miracle Field.
The Miracle Field, and that's going to draw a lot more people with special needs, and then they will be able to have an access to the playgrounds, the beaches, all kinds of opportunities that they may not have otherwise.
That's correct.
That's lovely. That's
so we're really very, very lucky.
And then Toastmasters. Tell me about Toastmasters.
So I think Toastmasters is an organization that helps anybody and everybody communicate better. People think it's only for public speaking. It is not. It is a way to teach you to communicate with others. It's a way for you to be able to learn to lead and to be able to organize your thoughts quickly and effectively. We teach those kinds of skills, which is really the skills to live.
Absolutely.
And I've seen people, once they come to Toastmasters and they're able to get their self-esteem, because that's the whole point. If you feel good, if you feel good in who you are, if you feel that you can understand what you're doing and you can present what you're doing to somebody else, you're done.
So in
That's really what you
Toastmasters, what I understand is that there's a fair amount of an evaluation process.
Correct.
That goes with that. So if I was to go to Toastmasters and perhaps give a speech, then somebody would say, this was a good speech, or this is something that you could work on, some improvements might include.
Right. So the way we teach through Toastmasters is you do, you learn, you teach, and then you do it again.
Okay.
So you will make, if you join Toastmasters, you come in and you write a speech. Then what we're going to tell you is, what is it that you did really well? Because if all you do is tell people what they're doing wrong, it's a major problem. So what are you doing really well? What is it that you need to work on? And what is it that I liked? So we only give you a point of improvement, 1 to 2 points at most.
So it's within reach, is what I'm thinking.
It's within reach, and it is tiny steps that you can actually work on. And every single day you can work on it. So it's not like when you go to a lot of the professional courses, which I've taken, by the way, Toastmasters is much more effective because you're doing it in life. You're doing it every day, and you do a tiny bit, practice that, come back in a couple of weeks, do something else, practice that, come back in a couple of weeks, and within a few months you notice a huge difference in both of your self-confidence and your ability to speak.
And your presentation
and your
as well.
presentation skills.
And probably you can do some research. It's good brain work where you can get
Absolutely.
a topic and discover it, explore it.
Absolutely.
Nice, nice. Okay.
Yeah, it's a fun thing.
Good. And I've heard about table topics.
So table
You talk about
topics is
tables,
impromptu.
or what is that? Like, this is a nice round table? No.
No. So what table topics are, it's impromptu speaking. So I could come in and say, okay, so who had a great vacation? Tell me about it. What was your most exciting moment? What is something that you do with your family? Or I could do something like, you are now a sportscaster.
Okay.
There is
Ladies
a
and
football
gentlemen.
team going on. Tell me what's happening.
Okay.
Okay. Or I could do something about, what is it that's important to you? Or tell me a little bit about your daughter, your son, your work, whatever. So we never know what the topic is. It can be absolutely anything, but something that anybody can talk about. So it's not going to be, tell me about the ideology of this specific politician. But it could be about, why do you think politics is important? Okay, so anybody can talk about it without having to do research. So that's table topics, is to teach you how to think on the spot and then be able to verbalize, be able to make an opening statement, a middle statement, and then a closing statement.
Is it like a 30-minute speech that you give?
No, it's 2 to 3 minutes.
Oh, 2 to 3. So just a little bit of a snippet.
Exactly.
Oh,
I'm sorry, 1 to 2 minutes.
Oh, 1 to 2 minutes.
Yeah,
Okay.
1 to 2 minutes.
So just a little bit of something just to catch their
Right.
attention.
And to teach you to speak very quickly. Because now if you go to a job and your boss says to you, why should I keep you?
Oh my gosh, I better talk fast.
And you only have about 30 seconds. Okay?
Right.
Why is it that I should keep you? You better know what it is that you're doing, that you're adding value, and why they cannot afford to lose you.
Speaking of adding value, I think you say one time that if you join Toastmasters or become a part of Toastmasters, and if you're a young person, perhaps that is something that would help you to kind of ascend through the ranks more quickly.
Absolutely.
Tell me about that.
Absolutely. I have been in Toastmasters now for well over 10 years.
Wow.
And I've noticed people come in, be very timid, not be able to function, not be able to give presentations. And once they come in and they're with us for 6 months to a year, they end up going up in their businesses, in their jobs, because they're able to give presentations. They're able to present themselves in such a way that doors end up opening for them, and they're able to continue to grow in their field.
Oh, that's lovely. Now, is Toastmasters just in Connecticut?
It's It's an international organization, so it's not only in Connecticut, it's also all over the world.
Wow, that's pretty amazing.
It is really very amazing. It's a lot of fun.
Okay, well, great. Thank you for sharing about that. And so Red Cross, Rotary, Toastmasters, and I'm sure with your grandkids and the one on the way.
Absolutely.
You're busy. And
I'm very busy with that, with my business, with all the things that I do around town, and I try to be a good friend, so.
I'm sure you are a good friend. Well, you are a good friend. So, and why are you doing all of this, Eva? I mean, you could, you've worked a full career. You're, 29 and a half now. You could just sit back and watch, I don't know, are there soap operas on these days? Or you could just kind of power through.
That is just not me. That is not my personality. And as I said before, I saw through my whole career, I see people being really, their self-esteem is really low, their self-confidence is really low, they're not able to function. And I used to believe that makeup and looking good is extremely vain, and only people that are really vain are going to do that.
Oh, and have you changed your opinion on that?
Well, I've changed my opinion 150%.
Wow, that's a lot of change.
Because that is a lot of change. And part of the reason is because of what I've seen with people and what I saw with my friend who was very, very ill. And I was able to give her some makeup. I didn't want to do it. I wasn't doing the business at the time. But I helped her look a little bit better. And all of a sudden she said, oh my God, I look pretty again. And started smiling.
Aww.
And was able to feel better. And what she said to me, Eva, I never realized how important it is to be able to look in the mirror and see what you used to look like and recognize that other person and to be able to feel like you look normal, and if you go out, you're going to be okay. Mm-hmm. I didn't realize how powerful that was.
It's very powerful. My mother used to say, if you look good, you feel better. Mm-hmm. And I think people judge you on your looks. I mean, I think we're kind of a society, whether or not we want to admit it, but we judge people by how they dress, how they walk, how they carry themselves.
Absolutely. And that is, you're not being vain. That is being human, because that is how we judge everything. We look for beauty as a human race. They have newborn infants, and they will put pictures up of really beautiful people and not so beautiful people, and newborns, 2-3 months old. They look at the beautiful people. That is just something that we're born with. And what happens is we are all totally beautiful and wonderful on the inside. We are wonderfully and fearfully made. Each of us has so much to give to the world. But you end up looking at the models, and those people they've got thousands.
Impossible.
Yeah, they've got thousands of people making them look like that.
Right.
And they've got all kinds of filters you can put on.
Right.
So that is not real, and not everybody can be a size 3. Not everybody can be, long, blonde, beautiful hair or whatever. We are all beautiful in how we are. But in order for us to have our own self-esteem, you've got to get up, dress up, so you can go up. Because when
let's repeat that. Get up,
dress up to
go up. Okay.
Okay. I don't know if any of you have ever gone to the hairdresser. You go to the hairdresser and you come home, you're just in a better mood.
Right. You look good.
Because you feel that you look good. Mm-hmm. When you look good, your self-confidence goes up.
Well, my mother was kind of interesting. She didn't feel like she was very pretty. She didn't feel like her outside physical body was very pretty. So what she did was she took a lot of concern in how she appeared all the time. She dressed to the nines. She, did really had beautiful hair all the time and makeup and that kind of thing. So it was really careful just so that she could reach out to other people and be accepted. And I think it's exactly what you're talking about.
Yes. And it's more not to be accepted by outside people. And I don't believe that everybody needs makeup. I truly don't.
No.
I think everybody needs to feel good in the skin that they're in.
That's right.
And so what if you need to color your hair, okay, because you don't want to look gray, and that will make you feel good, that's what you should do. If the gray hair doesn't bother you, that's great. If all of us need good skincare, all of us need good skincare, and we need to make sure that the skincare that we're using is natural and organic and has no harmful chemicals. Because unfortunately, the FDA is not so good at ensuring that our skincare is safe.
It's not being regulated very well. The Federal Drug Administration.
That is correct. It's not regulated very well, and a lot of the skincare products and makeup products are, if you take it even to Canada, it's not, you can't use it there because it has products that have been studied and shown that it can cause harmful things to your body.
So other countries are more stringent than we are as far as the kinds of products that we can use on our skin, and then also the foods that we eat are more restricted.
Exactly. And people always say to me, you know, what's really important about good skincare? And I have to tell you, the most important thing in good skincare is, number one, you got to drink a lot of water.
Stay hydrated.
Stay hydrated. You need water in your body. We're 98% water. Number two, eat foods that are going to be healthy for you, that is not garbage. Eat the food that grows, okay?
A lot of vegetables.
Exactly. Move your body. We're meant to be moving, okay?
Exactly.
Move your body.
Exactly.
And then make sure that when you're eating, when you're moving your body, when you're doing all of these things, that the products that you put on top of your skin is also healthy for you, because all that goes into your body. That's it. Be logical. And people say meditate. Yes, meditate. But you know what? We don't always have a chance to meditate. So instead, always think of something that you can do that you're thankful for, that you can do to help somebody, and you can do to make yourself feel as good as you possibly can.
Well, and I found the other day, it was really kind of interesting that I had a friend who I wanted to get a hearing test done on. Mm-hmm. And so I arranged for him to get his hearing evaluated, and he was not able to make the appointment, so I went instead. And it turned out to be the best thing that could have happened to me, because she said, you know, you're having some low frequency range here that's outside the levels of what's normal. And mm-hmm. And I'm thinking, you know, if you're always reaching and taking care of somebody else, chances are you're going to need that too. Mm-hmm. And, you know, you think of a neighbor that's maybe lost a loved one. So what do? You make them a nice dinner, and then double benefit, you get something as well too.
Exactly. So taking care of somebody else is extremely important, but also taking care of the beautiful, wonderful you is as important.
I try to do both, absolutely, absolutely. And exercise. You mentioned exercise, how mm-hmm. important that is.
Yes. I love to go to my jazzercise.
Jazzercise. Yes. Well, then it's fun.
It's fun. It's exciting. It's a bunch of women. We all talk, we laugh, we dance, and we go home. You start the day on a positive note. When you work out, you know, there is one meditation that I do which sounds ridiculous, but it starts out with just saying he, and continue saying it quite slowly. It makes you breathe, and then saying it fast. So you're going he, and you do it loud enough so you begin to laugh. And it, you know what? It's a form of meditation, but what it actually does is it puts you in a really good mood. Because let me tell you, how silly can you be sitting there going,
it just makes you laugh.
Exactly.
And laughing is contagious.
It's contagious. It's good for you. And it's a great workout.
Yeah, there you're working on your abs right there. And
you're working on everything. Breathing. And it's also really good for your mental. Because when you're laughing, you can't be sad.
No, you can't be sad. It's good to laugh every day, to find something good to be laughing about. Now, you said something one time about starting each day with a positive intention. Tell me about that. What does that mean, positive intention?
When I wake up every morning, I think about at least 4 or 5 things that I'm grateful for.
Oh.
Okay?
So you could just say, like, oh, I had a good night's sleep. I'm grateful for that.
I'm grateful for a good night's sleep. I'm grateful that I have a bed. I'm grateful that I have a house. I'm grateful that I have my husband. And I'm grateful that I have the ability to think about being grateful.
Well, that's 5.
Right.
And then you can be grateful for being grateful.
There you go. And then I then think about, what can I do today to help make somebody's life a little bit better? Don't know what that'll be. And it's not, I don't spend a lot of time on it, but what it forces you to do is to actually look for things and find things subconsciously that will be happening. Okay, so it just makes such a difference in how you begin your life, your morning and your day. And if you start out with writing a note to somebody, I don't care who it is, a friend, a family member, just something you appreciate about them.
Absolutely. I can see that.
Yeah, it will make them feel good. But what's even more important is it'll make you feel good. And it forces your mind to be on the positive instead of the negative. And so you will notice the beautiful sunshine instead of all the traffic.
And then at the end of the day, you can say, I'm grateful for the sunrise and the sunset.
Exactly.
And if you are stuck in traffic, I'm grateful I was only stuck there for an hour instead of 5.
And what a great time to be listening to some books, some education. Use your car as a car university. I have my Audibles. I have tons of...
I love that, car university.
Absolutely.
So you have your PhD. You drive around.
I drive around a lot.
You drive around a lot, so you must have like an advanced or couple of PhDs at this point in time.
Yes, piling it higher and deeper. Absolutely.
So that's really good.
Lots of PhDs.
Positive intention every day. And then how do you close the day? Do you have a special kind of ritual that...
When I close the day again, I go through things that I am grateful for, and then I do about at least 4 or 5 times a week, I listen to affirmations.
Nice.
Okay?
Is that the he?
No. Affirmations about... things that you want to accomplish. Okay, things that you want to do. So instead of saying, I can't, I am powerful, I am kind, I am all the things you want to be.
And then I imagine when you are being kind, you're like, wow, that was a kind act.
It was a kind act. So noticing the things that you're doing that's right, noticing the things that are, because most of us always notice what's wrong. Okay, so instead, switch it. Notice all the things that are right. You want your husband to help you in the house?
Thank you for being so helpful and opening the door and helping me with the groceries. And
exactly.
Thank you, right? It's not, and it's okay. And it's okay to tell him.
It's not only okay, but not just thank you for helping me, but you know, I really appreciate the fact that you put the dishes away. It made such a difference for me. I didn't have to do it.
Right.
Thank you so much.
And I'm grateful that you participate.
Exactly. And so if you're continuously, it sounds like it's a 2-year-old, but when you do that, and try it. Just try it for shits and giggles, because you can. Oh, sorry, I'm not allowed to say that. Bleep. Try really reinforcing what they're doing right, because you're going to notice if you tell somebody that they're an organized, kind person, it's really hard to be mean and nasty.
Oh, there you go.
They begin to associate themselves with that.
And how are you passing this on to your grandson? He's 2.5 now? Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, he's 3 now.
3. He's 3.
He just turned 3.
I pass that on by treating him with kindness and love. Mm-hmm. And he is the luckiest little boy, because my children are the best parents I've ever met. Certainly much better than I ever was.
Well, they
much
turned
more
out well.
patient.
Oh.
So that's how we do it. And it's by example. Everything that you do, good or bad, it's by example. It's not by talking.
So if you want to show generosity, then you model that generosity.
Exactly.
Wow. Well, this was really nice having you on our show today. Thank you
Thank you so much. I really enjoyed it.